Tonight, families want answers. A commercial jet is missing off the coast of Vietnam. We have the latest update plus new information about several stolen passports.
Later, things are heating up in the Pistoria murder trial. CNN reports on the sickening testimony that made the defendant throw up in court.
Plus, what did Rand Paul have to say about the ongoing crisis in the Ukraine? The Republican response coming up.
Welcome to the first live MCTV news update of the semester. I'm Meredith Farrell.
And I'm Josh Englander. We have plenty to cover, so let's take you across the world and around the block. 4 days ago, Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, heading towards Beijing, and mysteriously disappeared mid-flight. There were 239 people on board the commercial jet when it vanished in the airspace over Vietnam. So far, search and rescue teams have been unable to uncover any part of the missing plane. Oil slicks resembling those of a crashed airliner were found in the ocean, near where the plane lost contact. Investigators are questioning the fact that 2, possibly 4 passengers on board the aircraft used passports that were stolen. Authorities find it strange that the pilots did not send out a distress signal of any kind.
While investigators comb the sea in an effort to locate the missing airliner, airport security is red in the face because of a safety oversight. Reports come out yesterday that 2 passengers aboard the missing Malaysian flight got on using stolen passports. The first thought it was that these 2 men were terrorists and are linked to the flight's disappearance. After investigation further, officials confirmed that neither man is linked with a terrorist organization. One stolen passport was for a man hoping to migrate to Germany in an attempt to reconnect with his mother. Airport security took this oversight as a sign that there are still holes in the system. Neither passport was scanned. We're still not sure what happened to flight MH370, but we can rest assured that these men were not the cause of the disappearance.
It was a dramatic start to the second week of testimony in the Oscar Pistoria trial. A pathologist took the stand to detail the horrific injuries sustained by Pistoria girlfriend Riva Steenkamp. The testimony was so graphic, Pistoria got physically sick, throwing up in the courtroom. CNN's Robin Kurnow reports.
Morning, Oscar. Morning.
Russia is supporting Crimea in efforts to break away from the Ukrainian and join the Russian Federation. Secretary of State John Kerry warned that such an act would destroy any hope of diplomacy. Kerry has made it clear that Sergei Lavrov, Russia's foreign minister, that the U.S. would be willing to facilitate contact groups with allies such as France, Britain, and Germany in order to negotiate a political solution. The U.S. is also looking to encourage Ukrainian and Russian officials to start talking and to start coming up with a compromise to solve this problem.
A 4-month ordeal is over for 13 Greek Orthodox nuns and 3 workers. They have been released by rebel fighters who had been holding them since November. CNN's Mohammed Jamjoom has the details from Beirut, Lebanon.
A harrowing hostage negotiation. One frightened child deposited into the arms of a masked gunman. Cries of God is great only add to the dramatic air of the late-night exchange. 13 Syrian nuns held by rebel fighters since November in exchange for 150 female prisoners jailed by the Syrian government. On a craggy road along Syria's mountainous border with Lebanon, the relief was apparent. This fighter repeatedly thanks God before making a vow. We won't rest, he declares, until we free every sister from the prisons of the tyrant Bashar al-Assad. Last-minute hiccups in the mediation kept the exchange from happening much earlier. The nuns started their journey toward freedom in daylight. Before departing, they took mercy on their captors. It's been 4 months, says this nun with a smile. This is the 4th month. But that's okay. The kidnappers were kind in return. One sister, too frail to walk, was carried to the car. And while the drive may have been smooth, their release was months in the making. The Qatari government had to intervene to get the deal done, according to state media in Lebanon. In the end, they were delivered. We thank you for how you treated us, one nun tells a rebel. May God protect you. As they shuffled into safety, they could finally rest and pray a little easier. Mohammed Jamjoom, CNN, Beirut.
Gambling with money is one thing. Gambling with your identity is another. A 22-year-old New Zealand man had to legally change his name after losing a poker game with his friends. This bet was made almost 5 years ago, but it took this much time for the New Zealand government to approve what is arguably the most ridiculous name in history. Full Metal, Havoc more sexy and intelligent than Spock and all superheroes, combined with Frost Nova. Funny enough, the New Zealand government has rejected names such as Majesty or Princess. The man will now be forced to change over to this name on all his legal identification documents, including his license and passport. This name is just ridiculous. And to think that they didn't approve Princess or Majesty and they approved this name.
Oh my God, like for one thing, I love how he includes Spock in the name. Obviously that means he's a Star Trek geek and I'm totally for that. And also, I mean, the guy clearly, like, as a geek, I mean, if you're gonna have the longest name in history, you gotta have geeky figures in there, I feel like.
Absolutely.
All right. So it doesn't seem like placing bets on weather will give us any more luck these days. So let's turn it over to Clancy Burke for the weather report.
Thanks, guys. Based on the sunny skies and high temperatures in the past few days, you may have thought that spring was finally here. I mean, did you look outside today? Beautiful, warm, sunny weather. But here's the problem. From cyclones to snowstorms, it appears that we are going to have to wait just a little bit longer for the arrival of the warm weather and cool breezes that spring guarantees. In New Zealand, Tropical Cyclone LUSI formed early Monday morning just east of Vanuatu. The cyclone is expected to turn southward and head for New Zealand's North Island. As it moves, the strength of LUSI is expected to increase and may even be as strong as a Category 2 hurricane. As LUSI approaches New Zealand, it is possible it will weaken, but will be a strong storm regardless. Cyclone LUSI has already produced several inches of rainfall across parts of New Zealand, and flash flooding will be a significant concern through Wednesday. Unfortunately, New Zealand is not the only place experiencing unpleasant conditions. On Sunday night, Northern California was rattled by a 6.9 magnitude earthquake. This was reportedly the strongest earthquake off the Northern California coast since 1992. The quake lasted about 20 seconds, and luckily there are no reports or injuries of death. Moving on to weather in the Hudson Valley, a winter storm is expected throughout these next few days despite the spring-like start to the week. The storm will form across the lower Midwest states tonight and will then move into the Northeast and Canada from Wednesday to Thursday. The heaviest snowfall will target interior New England, where totals can exceed 1 foot and near blizzard conditions may evolve. Prepare for treacherous driving conditions, flight delays, and school cancellations. Looking at weather in the Hudson Valley, it is clear that it certainly is warming up, but winter is not over just yet. Let's have a look at what today had in store for us. We experienced a high of 61 degrees, which felt so wonderful, and a low of 33, which wasn't really too bad considering what it has been recently. And these were significantly higher than what our averages for this day has been. Today's record was 74 degrees, and the low was a staggering -5. The sunrise was at 7:14 a.m. and the sunset was at nearly 7 o'clock p.m. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm so thankful for that daylight savings, although losing an hour of sleep might not have been the best thing for me in the long run. Tonight, expect late showers and a low of 33 degrees. For tomorrow, rain and snow will persist throughout the day, and winds will be traveling northeast at 9 miles per hour. For the end of the week, expect snow and strong winds and 22 miles per hour on Thursday. Thankfully, things will calm down a bit on Friday with partly cloudy skies and 9-mile-per-hour winds. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday will bring cloudy skies and relatively low winds. As winter seems to not be done with us yet, spring break could not be coming at a better time. Hopefully you're going somewhere warm next week. That's all I have for you here tonight. With your weekly highs and lows report, I'm Clancy Burke. Back to you guys.
The weather today was amazing. It was so nice.
I literally, walking around without a sweater on today, I couldn't have asked for a better day.
It was perfect. No jacket, no nothing.
I'm worried about that snowstorm coming up. I got a train on Friday, and I'm done with snowstorms. I'm done with snowstorms, and today felt like a summer day, and I actually went out running for once, and running for me is very rare. I'm telling you, like, if it has that weather going forward, then I'm going to be a happy camper for sure.
All right, when we come back, Andrew Auger will have our Hollywood Goss Report, as well as a look at the hottest movies in the box office.
Plus, a special new Facebook page that has the entire campus talking. Stay tuned.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Kelsey, how's school?
Everything's great. I really like my classes.
There's so many clubs and activities to choose from. I think I'd like to study abroad. I was accepted for an internship in New York City. I can't believe I'm graduating.
My name is Brittany, and I'm a freshman at Marist College. It was one of my first weeks on campus, and some friends and I decided to go out. After a few hours, thinking nothing of it, I decided to leave early. That night, I was brutally attacked because I decided to leave the bar alone. It took one night, one bad decision that would create pain for a lifetime.
Welcome back. Well, it appears that Charlie Sheen is up to his old antics once again. The former 2.5 Men stars apparently caused various delays in his production for his FX television program, Anger Management. Several of his co-stars have been threatening to quit the program because of his absence. You'd think with Sheen's tenacious tiger blood that he'd be able to show up to his job on time. Speaking of hardcore, the Mexican state government has decided to cancel a 2-day music festival known as Hell in Heaven Metal Fest because of concerns regarding the safety of the spectators. The festival was supposed to happen mid-March, featuring bands such as Kiss, Guns N' Roses, and Twisted Sister. The venue was cited for fire safety and evacuation issues, along with improper preparation for fireworks. Also causing fireworks is director Darren Aronofsky's upcoming blockbuster Noah, starring Russell Crowe as the titular character. The film's adaptation of the famous Old Testament story has been causing controversy for its supposedly inaccurate portrayal of the classic tale. Certain countries have started to take notice, as Qatar and the U.S. Emirates have decided to ban the film from their theaters. North American audiences can see Noah when it floods into theaters on March 28th. The big entertainment buzz of the week came out of the South by Southwest Festival in Austin, Texas. The festival is known for its dual showcasing of music and movies. Musical stars such as Lady Gaga, Kendrick Lamar, and Coldplay made appearances. Several major upcoming movies had their premiere at the famed Alamo Drafthouse. Comedic actor Jason Bateman unleashed his directorial debut in Bad Words, while Iron Man director Jon Favreau served up his new comedy Chef. The film receiving the most buzz is Neighbors. The raunchy comedy from the director of Forgetting Sarah Marshall features Seth Rogen and Zac Efron in what many are calling his best performance yet. Neighbors hits theaters on May 9th. On to movies you can see now. 300 Rise of an Empire took the top spot at the box office this weekend, raking in an estimated $45 million. Coming in an impressive second is DreamWorks' Mr. Peabody and Sherman with $32.5 million. For my money, the best movie in theaters right now is the number 4 film of the week, The Lego Movie. The film is a funny, creative, incredibly smart work from extremely talented filmmakers Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I can't wait to see their next product, 22 Jump Street, which opens this June. That's all for entertainment this week. I'm Andrew Auger. That's all I have to say. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. Keep it here.
Why should people watch the other half? Phenomenal question.
We really get down to the issues.
Oh!
Now, it's trendy, it's hilarious.
It's something that every college student can relate to.
It gets very provocative.
It's really great to see what the opposite sex thinks about things.
Real men don't do that, all right? You gotta start seeing some real men.
Okay!
You know, there's some times where Rob and I have a little bit of a disagreement on subjects.
Final thought.
Oh my god. I look jacked.
No. We do episodes on fashion, sports, text translation, first dates.
It's just an international sensation that this show is going to be sweeping the nation.
It was a fiasco.
Really, every college student in the world should be watching this show.
Low 5. No.
It's safe to say that most Marist College students have a Facebook page. If you do, you may have seen the page called Humans of New York. But in case you haven't heard of it, the page is basically a bunch of pictures of random New Yorkers with a quote from a conversation with the person that the photographer took a picture of. Also called Honey, the point of this page is to showcase the diversity of New York City residents. One individual is taking that idea and bringing it home. Humans of Marist College is a new Facebook page that allows fans to get a glimpse of the diverse students and staff who make up the Marist College family. I had the pleasure of interviewing the creator on my radio show over the weekend. Here's what she had to say.
Students happen to be a certain, category. Doesn't mean that all of the college is a certain category. There are a lot of people that work here that aren't from the U.S., that don't speak as great of English. There are a lot of people that have been through things that we haven't necessarily been through.
Colleges and communities are beginning to make their own pages thanks to the work of Honey. You can follow Humans of Marist College on Facebook and Instagram. Coming up next, Dan the Sportsman Cohen has the play-by-play in your world of sports. Stay tuned.
Hi everyone, welcome to Red Fox TV.
When should I be expecting you? 15 minutes? I'll be ready.
Thank you for staying with us. Quick question for you all. Does James Dolan need a little zen in his life? Phil Jackson decided today to become the head of basketball operations for the New York Knicks and will decide later this week on finalization of the contract details. ESPN reported this weekend that he was leaning towards accepting the offer after he said he needed to get back to work. This move reeks of desperation as Dolan is giving Jackson full control, which he's never done with a general manager before. Superstar Carmelo Anthony is likely to test free agency this summer after that debacle that may have taken the Knicks from winning their division to missing the playoffs in the last 12 months. Dolan hopes that Jackson's 11 championship rings will force Anthony to reconsider that decision. In other news, the NFL has started its free agency today at 4 p.m. We have a lot of big moves already that have happened. Big cuts would be that DeMarcus Ware, Julius Peppers, and Miles Austin have all been released for cap reasons. Jarius Byrd signed with the Saints on a 6-year deal, and he was the most attractive safety on the market. Eugene Monroe re-signed with the Baltimore Ravens, after he tested the market to look for a new team. There are more big moves that are coming, but the teams that went after players today certainly overpaid for what they wanted. Now, let's take a look at our MAC championships. Our women's basketball team took their talents up to Springfield, Massachusetts this weekend to win their 9th straight MAC tournament and 10th out of the last 11 years. Coach Brian Georges has started something at Marist that he has taken to a new level. The team will now go on to the NCAA tournament to face off and try to make a run at the Sweet 16 like they did back in 2006. That's all for me. Back to you guys.
So, first of all, I gotta say the Phil Jackson story is pretty funny, and it goes to show you that no matter how many times they say people retire, they just don't retire. That's the reality. But I think the Marist MAC Championship is definitely amazing, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a freshman here, too, so to see it as a freshman was just, it was a great experience.
Sure, and it's for these girls, it's their 4th straight, and they were worried. There was a quote out there. They were worried about being the team that didn't win their 4th straight, or the one in their senior year. And by doing it, they feel like they really accomplished something, and we'll see what they can do in the tournament next weekend.
Absolutely. Metro North has been getting a lot of bad press over the course of the past year, and yesterday's accident isn't helping things. Metro North worker James Romansoff was struck and killed by a Poughkeepsie-bound train early Monday morning. The 1247 train from Grand Central hit the man at Park Avenue and 106th Street. Romansoff had been working on restoring power to the tracks that were down for maintenance this past weekend. This is very similar to the case where the man in Connecticut was hit by a Metro North train. The passengers of the train had to transfer trains, and service was down for a bit after the accident, but regular transit was resumed by the time the morning rush came. This is just, such a tragic thing. I don't really understand what's going on with the Metro North trains if this is happening so much.
It's definitely weird, and it really makes you show, like, why is Metro North having all these problems? Maybe they need to add more money to their services.
Yeah, with all this stuff going on, I can't believe it's happened again. Something needs to be done to fix this.
No, definitely, yeah. This Sunday, Americans had a look at the directions U.S. foreign policy may take if a Republican wins the 2016 elections. 3 potential candidates, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, and Paul Ryan, made TV appearances to discuss the current situation in the Ukraine. Ryan, winner of the presidential straw poll, stated that he would warn Putin that his actions were, quote, disastrous, while Cruz said the U.S. should be more hands-on. Paul's approach was more focused on sanctions. Many Republicans are coming out on the issue since it has gained global attention.
Edward Snowden appeared via teleconference at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas on Monday to talk about government surveillance. He called for greater public oversight of the National Security Agency's secret monitoring of Americans' phones and internet usage. He also fielded questions from moderators of the panel as well as Twitter. When asked if he would leak the documents again if given a second chance, he said, absolutely. Regardless of what happens to me, this is something we had the right to know.
The father of Sandy Hook shooter Adam Lanza is speaking publicly about his son for the first time. Adam Lanza killed 20 school children, 6 adults, and himself at Newtown, Connecticut elementary school in December of 2012. He also shot and killed his mother. Peter Lanza told New Yorker magazine reporter Andrew Solomon that Adam would have killed him in a heartbeat if he had a chance. Solomon says Lanza decided to break his silence because he thought it might help. Take a look.
I think he did as much as he felt able to do, and in retrospect, I think he wishes he had done things otherwise. He said to me, I wish I'd had a different relationship with him, because no outcome could be worse or more evil than the one we had, so anything different had to be better. Having said that, I think he said, I can't see it coming, even in retrospect and even with hindsight, I can't see it coming. There was no evidence, there was nothing to point me in that direction.
Kind of sad.
Lanza told Solomon that he had wished his son had never been born.
Researchers have recently developed a blood test that can predict if Alzheimer's disease will arise in a currently healthy person. Many are hoping that the test will be available in doctors' offices soon, since many of the current methods for predicting the disease are considered unreliable and impractical. Dr. Howard Federoff of Georgetown University Medical Center believes that this test could change the way medical professionals detect the disease forever. This new simple test based on the concentration of lipids in the blood could possibly help find a way to treat people who have the disease before they start showing symptoms.
Is your iPhone feeling a little sluggish? Have you noticed that it isn't running as smoothly as it once was? Well, we have a few simple tricks for you that can improve your iPhone's performance cost-free. First, delete all the apps you haven't used in a while. You'd be surprised at how much space they actually take up. Next, treat your iPhone more like you treat your computer browser's cache, and begin clearing your web history more often. And finally, delete old text messages, especially the ones including pictures and videos. After performing these tricks, your iPhone will be feeling good as new. So definitely, I think iPhone cleansing is definitely something a lot of people don't think about.
Oh, absolutely. I'm the worst offender with it. I never remember to close the windows and everything, so I'm always clogging it up and it slows down and then I get mad at it, but oh, absolutely.
Oh, I mean, I'm always paranoid now about deleting apps and getting rid of stuff because you never know when you're going to need the space at the worst time or the most awkward time possible, so.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
On-campus election season is officially in full swing. Candidates to the stage and plead their case for election. MCTV's Aaron Murtha reports from the Student Center.
It's that time of year again. Student government elections are being held and candidates are vying for your vote. On February 17th, students gathered in the PAR to listen to SGA speeches. Members of all classes spoke to their peers, hoping to win their vote into next year's office. Some of the candidates have already held positions, while others were making their first run. For Masai, running for Class of 2016 president, it is all about getting the campus involved.
They're the representation, so when they get involved, they give the students an opportunity to have a voice with the adults, with the administration, things like that, people who can make changes and make their wants and needs happen for them.
And these candidates had plenty of experience.
On campus, I'm involved with MCTV, Booster Club, Campus Ministry, and Communications Art Society.
The candidates for student body president and vice president think students need to be more comfortable with SGA.
By having a strong student government representative, the students will be able to feel more connected one way or another, and they'll feel comfortable to go to someone for anything, whether it's a concern or a suggestion.
I think it's important for students to get involved in student government because it is your school, it's your experience. You can really make of it what you want.
Keep an eye out for voting day. Votes can be made online via the Marist website. Erin Murtha, MCTV News, Poughkeepsie.
Now in its 4th week, The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon hosted political comedian Stephen Colbert this past Friday. It is the 2nd time he has appeared on the show since Fallon took over. However, it wasn't all roses for the two stars as they squared off in a segment called Truth or Truth to find out who was more honest. Colbert ended it with asking what Fallon's other favorite show airing at 11:30 was. His response? Reruns of Rizzo Lee and Isles instead of the Colbert Report. It seemed like a tie, but you can watch the clip at thetonightshow.com to see for yourself.
Is Lindsay Lohan making a comeback? After trouble with the police, multiple court appearances, and several rehab stays, Lohan has decided to give reality TV a try. The 27-year-old actress's first episode of Lindsay appeared on the OWN network this past Sunday. The show will follow Lohan as she tries to piece her life back together by moving to New York and starting over. Some say that the first episode seemed to be a little bit of a mix of Hollywood studio, intervention, and hoarders all thrown together. The show's goal is to focus on Lohan's sobriety and recovery as an artist.
On February 27th, Marist hosted its 7th annual Sustainability Day. Each year, campus organizations and students come together in order to draw attention to the sustainable efforts on campus. Various displays and exhibits were set up for students to ask questions, participate in a free swap, and get a taste of farm-fresh food. Presentations, films, and a tour of the new Student Center were scheduled throughout the day to promote simple ways for college students to make a difference in our campus community. As always, the effort was a success, with a large number of students showing up to hear from different members of the sustainable Hudson Valley community.
Who knew vodka could save a life, or at least a dog's life? Veterinarians gave a Maltese terrier named Charlie an entire bottle of vodka after the dog consumed antifreeze in his owner's garage. Doctors say that the ethanol found in vodka helps remove the toxicity of poison by breaking it down before it reaches the kidneys. Charlie was definitely drunk, according to his owner, but thankfully the pup survived. This is such a funny story. I love it.
It's too bad, honestly, that vodka tastes like poisonous shards, because honestly, it could be a great, if it's going to be used as a medicine, I mean, I guess it makes sense considering how bad medicine usually tastes.
Absolutely, and Charlie survived, so it's a happy day.
Absolutely. So, well, it looks like that's all we have for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Josh Englander.
And I'm Meredith Farrell. Stay foxy, Marist.